Hello, stamping friends. Brenda Hillard here at Create with Brenda. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have another, it's a simple but stunning card. I can't wait to show you. I'm going to be using the Nature's Harvest bundle. So it's this beautiful stamp set, and I'm going to put to use this splatter piece right here. So stay tuned, it's good stuff. And then you get this set of beautiful, beautiful dies. This one cuts out that flower. And then we have these cone flowers that it cuts out. And then just these silhouettes. They're stunning. They really are. And the labels are gorgeous too. So let's start with, I'm going to tell you, I took a piece of Very Vanilla scrap and I cut just a plain silhouette using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So that's how I got this piece, okay? And I'm making several of these cards. They're my thank you card, my customer thank you for this month. So I did kind of an assembly line, and that's why I have this already cut out with the Very Vanilla ink, okay? Or Very Vanilla paper, sorry. No such thing as Very Vanilla ink. All right. So the other thing things I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using my Stamparatus. And you can see I have my template here from one of the cone flowers I cut out. So I just fit this in there like a puzzle piece. And initially when I set this up, I line up the stamp. I can take this off from here and do it so you can see it from the beginning. So I have my stamp, right? And I'm just going to set it, and you'll feel it, the edges just fit in there. Then I leave my stamp just like that, tip down the plate, and pick up my stamp, okay? So that's how I make my template for my card. And then just so long as you don't move it, it will give you that perfect image every time. So while we're here and while I've shown you this, I'm going to put my piece in. I'm going to take my Early Espresso ink pad, and I'm simply going to, I'm going to turn this just so that it fits in my camera. I'm going to ink this up. And it always works well if you have a stamp case or a stamp pad under there. It just helps keep this acrylic plate level. And then let's flip it. And we'll just kind of give it a little bit of a rub to make sure the ink transfers. And then we can lift up and we have this perfectly stamped cone flower. Fun, right? Right. Okay. So here's what you're going to need for cardstock. Besides this scrap of Very Vanilla, you're going to need a piece of basic white that measures 5.5 by 8.5, and I have it scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Early Espresso that measures 4 inches this way, 5 1/4 long, and then I have a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 basic white. Okay, so I'm gonna, first off, we're gonna work with this piece. And I'm going to just bring down a piece of scrap paper here, because I may go off the edges. I'm going to be using this, I'm going to call it a background stamp because I really don't know what to call it. And using this ink combination, I'm going to use Bumblebee, Crumb Cake, and Cinnamon Cider. So Bumblebee first, and it doesn't matter which, it's just that that's what I happen to pick up. So I'm going to tap this around, pick up some ink, and then right in the middle, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay? Doesn't look like much, does it? All right. I'm going to bring in my chamois and just give this a clean so that I don't move one ink color to the next on my pads. Now I'm going to take crumb cake and I'm just going to ink this up just like before. And I'm going to stamp 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're probably looking at this going, what are you doing, right? Well, you cannot believe how stunning this is. And I don't even want to show you the finished card because I want you to see how this comes to life as we go along here. And now I'm going to take my cinnamon cider and I'm going to ink it up. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And do you see that mash or splatter of color? Isn't it pretty? But just wait. Just wait. Okay, so now I have to bring in my chamois again. And I just need to clean the cinnamon cider ink off from my stamp. Now, I don't know if you've ever used Versamark or not, but Versamark is a watermark stamp pad. We sell them. I sell them in my online store. Mine, you can see, is well loved. It's got some different inks and whatnot on it. But anyway, it works. It works just like it is. So now is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and there isn't a color to this. It's just a watermark. It's a clear ink. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I'm going to put that away. I'm going to bring in our gold embossing powder. So I'm just going to take embossing powder and dump it on my card and then give it a good tap to get rid of the excess. And you won't see it right now, but just wait, just wait, just wait. It gets so good. All right. I have a little excess embossing powder there. Great. This is going to be noisy, but it's worth the watch. I have my Stampin' Up! Heat tool, 2 speeds. I'm going to put it on number 2 and just wait for it to get warm. And then this is where it's so pretty. So I'm going to start heating up that embossing powder. And you do have to be kind of careful with this because if you hold it in one place too long, it'll start to scorch your paper. But do you see? I don't know if you can on the camera right now while I'm doing it, but as soon as I get done heating this up and melting that powder, I'll tip it under the camera so you can see what's happening here. Okay, I think I've got it all. Yep, I do. So now look what I get. Ooh, isn't it pretty? Right? And you do have to leave this just cool down a little bit so that it's not still liquid and that you move it, okay? All right, well, now let's get to the simple part of this card, right? So in the July through January, we have this gold shimmer ribbon. So is what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of this, and you can tie it in a knot or a bow. I'm choosing a bow. And this ribbon is really easy to tie in a bow. It makes nice, crisp, pretty bows. It'll be great for Christmas packaging too. So keep that in mind when you order. And speaking of order, this month when you order with me and your product order is $75 or more, you use my host code right here at checkout. I am going to send you a pack of it's a 4-pack of the stenciling masks, the decorative masks, adorning designs. I will send that to you absolutely free for shopping with me. So I'm excited about those. I did a little video on my Coffee and Create with Brenda last Saturday using those masks. So if you're curious about how they work or how to use them, check that out. All right, I've opened up my early espresso ink. I'm going to grab this sentiment from the stamp set that says a reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and so many others. Okay, I'm going to line up my sentiment there, pick it up with my block. I'm going to ink it up by moving it all around on my ink pad so it gets good and even. And then right down here, I'm just going to stamp. Remember to give the ink time to transfer to your cardstock. And then when you lift up, you get this beautiful, crisp image. Don't you love how it's like the typeset, but then it's got the font also? I really love that. Okay, so then we're going to go back to our little cone flower that we did earlier, remember, with the puzzle piece on the Stamparatus. I'm going to get some of my dimensionals here. And I'm going to pop this up. I love this die because they've made parts of it just wide enough to use the full-size dimensional. Makes it nice so you aren't having to sit there and trim. Great, I'm going to take all the backings off from my dimensionals to expose the adhesive. And then I'm going to set this right on my card here, just like that. Isn't it pretty? It's so shiny, you guys. So let's take in this piece of 4 by 5 1/4 early espresso. And I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal to edges. I'm going to center it on my colored cardstock. And let's bring in our card base. And remember, I told you I scored it at 4 1/4. I'm just going to match up my edges and give that crease a good, or make it a nice fold with my bone folder. And then for this, because I've popped up and because I have the bow, I am just going to take my Stampin' Seal and glue this straight down to my card base. Wowza, right? I love this card. Love it. And then on the inside, because it is my monthly thank you that I'll be sending out to all of my customers, I'm going to take the thank you font, or the thank you stamp, with the scripty font from the stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp it right here. And then, because you know me, or if you don't, you will soon find out that I decorate the inside of my cards as well as my envelope too. So in the stamp set, there's this pretty little, I don't know what you'd call it. It's just kind of a stem of maybe field flowers. I'm going to ink that up with the bumblebee ink. I'm going to stamp it right here on the side. And then that same thing to my envelope. So this is the front of my envelope. I'm going to ink up, and right down here at the bottom, I'm going to add that same little flower. Okay, you guys, that's our card. Now, I know heat embossing, you're like, oh, heat embossing. But really, once you get it set up and get it going, it doesn't take long, and it is a wowie card. So I hope you love today's project. Please subscribe to my channel down below. Be sure to give me a comment or a like. That helps others find my videos too. And then, if you need this bundle, I know how to hook you up. You click that Shop Now button down below, and we'll get one sent to you. Have a great day, everybody, and until next time, bye-bye.